Welcome on into the third episode of the Heel Tactics podcast. This week, we are going Night of Champions. Predictions heavy for almost the entire show. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and run into it. You want to start?
Yeah, let's get right into it. So, coming off of a really good Smackdown, really good Raw, in my opinion, I thought they were both really good shows. We had a lot of matches and promos leading into the pay-per-view this weekend. So, we can start with one of the smaller matches on the card, just kind of came up out of nowhere. We got Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross.
Well, to say this came up out of nowhere is a little crazy. They've been feuding since pre-WrestleMania.
Not came up out of nowhere, but I didn't expect it to be on this card.
I thought it would be on Raw. I'm just going to go ahead and preface this first by saying this is Night of Champions. There's four non-title matches, but I'm fine with two of them because they're King of the Ring.
Yeah.
But you have two non-title matches, whereas you have, between Raw and SmackDown coming up, four title matches between the two of them. I don't hate that the two non-title matches are on this show. I just think it's stupid that it's called Night of Champions. They should have just called it King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, not a lot of champion presence at
There's
Night
literally
of Champions.
two title matches, but there was supposed to be three, but Dom's versus AJ got canceled.
Yeah.
But Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Sami was sitting all upset backstage at Raw. And then Karrion Kross came in and he was like, I told you weren't going to beat Randy. You're never going to be world champion. Why don't you just give in and something
A common Karrion Kross promo.
And then Sami's just like, okay. And then Sami legit just punches him in the face.
Right in the face.
It was beautiful.
I like
real.
I like that Sami kind of got down and was like, I talked to Pierce already. Our match is official. TikTok, because that was Kross's thing.
Yeah.
I like that he used it against him. We get to see that fire. Yeah, I feel like when Sami took a big loss, like back in the day, it was always like they played it up like, oh, Sami's depressed. Sami's walking around backstage looking kind of lost. And now it's just like he knocks the dirt off his shoulders and he's just right back into the heat of things. Fire's always lit in him. So I'm definitely picking Sami to come out of this one on top.
I'm also going with Sami due to the fact that they're in Saudi Arabia.
I will say, though, if you want Kross to get over, which fans are already buying his shirts, I get that. But again, he's done nothing for me yet to where I'm sold on him. I feel like a lot of the common fans, they're just kind of whatever. Karrion Kross is whatever to them.
The social media fans are who loves Karrion Kross.
Yes, absolutely. So there's times where it appears he has a much bigger backing. There's times where he looks like he has a much lesser backing. I think personally, which we haven't seen, and I'm shocked they haven't tested the waters yet, but if Kross actually were to come out on a Raw, I'd be curious to see the live reaction to him.
Because we hear the fans cheer for him when he shows up backstage, but we've not seen an entrance for Karrion Kross.
Exactly.
Seeing how crazy I mean, he hasn't had a match since pre-WrestleMania on TV.
Yeah.
And then he's just randomly thrown into the pay-per-view.
For sure.
Which, it's not because of Karrion Kross. They're in
because
Saudi Arabia. Sami Zayn's going to be on the card.
Yep.
I thought he was going to be in the King of the Ring finals. That's not the plan they had, which is fine. But they chose to have this match here. I'm sure it'll be a fine match. But yeah, I'm going Sami Zayn all the way.
Same. My caveat is, if you want the fans to get behind Kross, he has to start winning matches.
If it was in the U.S., I would accept a little more of an argument for Karrion Kross.
Understandable. So from Kross and Sami, let's go to more of a impactful match, if you will. We've got both the King and the Queen of the Ring matches. Preferably, I'd like to start with the women. I feel like the men have
more stuff to unpack.
Yeah, they have a lot more to open up. So we've got Jade Cargill versus Asuka in the finals, Queen of the Ring. On Raw, we had Jade fight Roxanne Perez. They were the semifinals on Raw. SmackDown, we had Asuka Alexa Bliss.
Asuka Alexa was a good match.
It was a good match. I thought the Jade and the Roxanne match was just a little lackluster. It's not a knock on anyone in ring wise, because they go out there and do it every week. We don't. We're sitting on the couch watching. It's just, there was a certain spot where she had Roxanne on her shoulders, walking her up the steel steps. Impressive, crazy strength. And
Roxanne's like 5 pounds.
True, but it's still crazy. I mean, even if I picked up like a smaller person, walking them up steps takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
but she wiggles out and then goes for a chop block on the leg, I think it was her right leg. But the problem was because of how Roxanne landed on the steps, the chop block looked really weak. Then she slammed Jade's leg into the stairs to set up the classic small versus big. They injured the leg. Jade didn't really sell the leg injury because Roxanne chop blocked her again in the ring, which was a clean chop block. And then it was like she did a couple moves that still required a lot of power. She didn't care about the leg. And then she went to do her kip up, that like big one where she always does it. And she like grabbed her leg like, oh my God. Yeah. And then from that point on, it was like 0 to 100. I'm going to oversell the crap out of this leg coming off of every powerful move I just did. It was like I was unaffected.
I mean, maybe the powerful moves are what affected her.
For sure. So overall,
I mean, you got to look though. You got Jade and Roxanne.
Yeah.
As opposed to Asuka and Alexa. Asuka and Alexa have probably been friends and tag team champions. Yep. And they've been in the same locker room for years and fought each other countless times. Whereas this is definitely Jade and Roxanne's first singles match.
Ring, yeah.
Roxanne's still like 21 or some crap.
I think she's 23.
Yeah,
I think I looked
fresh
it up.
out of NXT.
She's young. Yeah.
Jade's still, I mean, she's been doing what she does for a while, but Jade's still a little green in the ring.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely give the edge of the semi matches to the Asuka Alexa match. But
they just, I mean, their chemistry is.
Yeah, you're not going to touch it. They've had so many years, like you were saying, together.
And they just there was a ton of clean like reversals and transitions and stuff in that match. And it's great to see like both of them were out for so long and now they're back and they're still performing just as good as they were.
And they're both put
when they debuted on the main roster.
Yeah, put right into prominent positions.
Yeah, I mean this is nice. This is going to be Asuka's third match, second singles match back, and it's the Queen of the Ring finals.
For sure. So gave the Asuka Alexa match the edge, but going into the actual pay-per-view, I'm going to give Jade the edge because we both predicted early on when Queen of the Ring was first announced that Jade would be the winner. There's part of me that thinks Asuka can win it for sure because she's getting so much traction building into it. I just feel like for story-wise, it makes more sense because I feel like Jade gives you more avenues.
I mean, I think the plan is Jade Tiffany or Jade Naomi.
Yep.
Either could happen. Both are the correct choice. But, I mean, there's always an argument to be made. Like, Io versus Asuka is a money match.
For sure.
Especially at SummerSlam. But I just think, one, if you go ahead and have Asuka lose this now, you're not going to set up something like where it kind of feels like she's going to go on another streak again and then she just loses randomly. For sure. Going ahead and, like, she's just going to be Asuka. Two, letting Jade beat someone like Asuka, that really helps Jade. Oh, she's not had that super...
Vault her up.
She had the great tag team run with Bianca, but she's not had, like, that crazy singles
signature
win. Yeah. I mean, she beat Naomi at Mania in a good match, but Naomi loses often, as opposed to someone like Asuka, who's frequently seen as a threat.
If you take away her time in damage control, Asuka's, generally speaking, going to win at least 80% of her matches.
Asuka's the fifth horsewoman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that.
But yeah, no, I have Jade as well. I think the plan is just for Jade to probably either win the women's, to definitely win the women's title against either Tiffany or Naomi by the time SummerSlam comes.
I think no matter what, Naomi's involved. I don't know if Naomi cashes in on Tiffy before. I don't know if Naomi cashes in on Jade after she's won, or she cashes in right when Jade's about to win, costing Jade.
The thing is, if she's smart, she'll do that.
Yeah.
Or if her vision's too clouded, she'll cash in on Tiffany.
Yeah.
She's already came out and tried to cash in on Tiffany twice, been stopped by Nia Jax both times, which could be a little like Tiffany is fighting Nia on SmackDown for the belt. That could be like she might just cash in here because now she also might have beef with Nia. Yeah. I think it's a little too soon, though, but still, I mean...
Yeah, I don't think I'd go for the cash in coming up this Friday. I think you've got...
I'd wait at least until Evolution.
Yeah, no matter what, you need... If the pick they're going with is Jade, you need Jade winning and then challenging Tiffy to be kind of like the center stage of Naomi's cash-in. Whether it's on Tiffy or her, it needs to be that there's 3 women involved in this story and not just 2.
Yeah, but no matter what, I mean, when it happens, Naomi and Jade's rivalry will pick right back up and last probably a very good amount of time.
For sure.
Till Bianca gets back, which I don't know how long that's going to be.
Hopefully soon, because I love Bianca.
Probably within the next few months. But, yeah.
Yeah.
We're both going Jade.
Yep. So, yeah, you've got Jade. We both went Jade. We both went Sammy. So, maybe a match we disagree on here.
Oh, yeah.
Sammy and Cross.
I forgot that was even on the show.
So, maybe a match that we'll disagree on here is we've got the street fight with Rhea and Raquel, which was set up across the whole tournament, really.
For it just being a short little build like this, and for Raquel not being in real singles action in a long time, I am surprisingly anticipating this match. Yeah. Like, Rhea and Raquel have always had something between each other. And now that Raquel is actually showing that she's not improving because she was good, but now she's getting back to what she used to be in the ring. Sure. She's a little more of a character now. Yep. I like her running around with both tag titles. She is a champion 2 times now.
She's a 2-time champion. And as Finn said to her,
she is the tag team champion.
You are the tag team champions. Like on Raw, we had Finn try to light a fire under her. We've had, which we've already talked about, Raquel and Rhea costing each other matches during this tournament. So it made perfect sense to have this fight happen.
Well, shockingly, it was cool to just see that Raquel was given promo time out in the ring. Yeah. But she comes out with both belts and she called out Rhea. Yeah. And it was actually a really great, little beatdown. You didn't bring out the refs within a millisecond. Nobody split them up. Nope. They just let them fight. Yeah. You don't see that anymore.
Yep. And then Raquel, after she threw Rhea into the timekeeper's area,
she pulls out the table. Jim table. Can we get the advertisements off of everything?
I'm a fan of the Slim Jim table.
I was a fan of the one Slim Jim table. This is their 3rd appearance of the Slim Jim table.
That's valid.
And not to mention the ring looks like a freaking NASCAR covered in different logos and stuff. It's just ugly.
I agree with that. But as we can note here, I love Slim Jim because it makes me think of Mach. And anytime I can think of Mach when watching wrestling, we're in a good spot. So I'm not against the Slim Jim table, but there is a lot of advertising. I don't disagree with that.
Can we at least stop calling it the Slim Jim table? It's just a table.
She's just getting out the table.
The Slim Jim logo's on it. Sure.
You're going to see it.
You don't call it the Slim Jim Fortnite Prime Real American Beer All American Vodka Wrestling Ring.
That is.
You call it the ring.
You call it getting in the ring. That's not a bad point. But she gets out the table and tries to set it up in the ring, at which point Rhea's back on her feet, jumps off the announce table, hits her with a nice forearm. Then she gets Raquel in the ring and she's going to do the riptide through the table. And here comes Roxanne Perez to save the day. Judgment Day teammate,
Roxanne jumps on Rhea's back. Rhea fights her off and then gets hit with the Tejana Bomb.
Which was clean.
Really nice power bomb.
Yeah, it was clean.
Clean transition into it. Tejana Bomb right through the table. And then Raquel's picks up Roxanne,
helps her up and hugs her. Yeah.
Out of nowhere, she seemed all jealous of her, and now Liv's gone, and she's just friends with her.
We're just going to get literally the same thing we just got with Liv replacing Rhea. It's just going to be completely recycled for Roxanne.
No, because I don't think they'll shove Roxanne into a feud with Io or anything.
No, I'm just saying
but
the whole
I'm perfectly fine
getting into the Judgment Day. I won't be shocked if in a couple months Roxanne and Dom are always together, and when Liv finally comes back, it's World War III over Dom.
Oh, definitely. I mean, what else are you going to do?
It's just...
What if Dom gets with Raquel?
Well, what if Dom has Raquel on one
that'd be another
and Roxanne on the
that'd
other?
That'd be crazy, but that'd be the whole charm behind Rhea and Dom was that it was Chyna and Chyna and Eddie,
which they continue to try to do with Liv, but because they let Dom get the IC title, I feel like it just kind of vaulted him into a spot of his own.
Dom with a big muscular woman as opposed to Dom with a small person.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd honestly be here for it to be Raquel. That'd be funny.
That'd be cool. But I just feel like we just came off of Liv getting into all the cracks and crevices of Judgment Day. I don't want to immediately see it again with Roxanne.
But I don't think this is Roxanne trying to infiltrate Judgment Day. I think this is Finn getting Roxanne
That
to do
is
this.
the way I will be, like, enjoying the story, because they already kind of are playing it up with Finn always being the one. Even last night, Roxanne has a match night, Dom. Hits him on the shoulder.
And Dom's just like, oh, tonight? Even though they've just said it 2 seconds ago. It's like, good luck.
It's quite literally the next match.
Dom literally doesn't care. Just how he wanted Liv to get away from him so much.
So as long as they keep playing it up that Finn's the mastermind and this finally breaks Finn away from the Judgment Day or breaks up the Judgment Day or whatever it does.
Finn orchestrates it to where Roxanne and Raquel are fighting over Tom.
That could happen. I wouldn't be shocked.
No, but I see them giving Roxanne the tag title just as an easy...
For sure.
As an easy out. I would rather see that than vacating them. Because, I mean, I think it's nice to see Raquel have it, I guess. And the belts aren't prestigious enough to make it a whole story of a new crowning tournament. Like, who would you have fight for them in a crowning thing aside from the
Meechin and B-Fab.
Meechin and B-Fab and Natalia and Maxine can't wrestle Dupree.
If Chelsea was still U.S. champ, I would put it on the Secret Service. But with her not having a belt, you don't need them having
The problem
belts.
is the Secret Service is 3 people now, so Chelsea's not going to be in tag action.
Yeah. Because Liv and Raquel just kind of use the belts as props more so because they've got more so Liv had so many other stories going on or rivalries or whatever. She's trying to go back after Io. She was trying to go after Nikki Bella. The tag titles kind of became secondary.
Yeah.
So I would have been all right if they had vacated it because then we get a fresh slate and they probably would have had 2 single stars like Lyra and Bailey win them and had the Mania moment
in
instead.
The best mid-card division.
Agreed,
right,
but if they're going to let Roxanne and Raquel actually be a tag team, defend the tag belts, have tag matches, I'm here for it.
They're going to face Rhea and Nikki Bella.
No,
because we're now talking about this match. I think Rhea is going to win the street fight against Raquel because I think Roxanne is going to get involved, and I think somebody's going to save Rhea, and it's going to be Nikki Bella, just because they got to make new plans because Nikki can't fight Liv.
That's valid.
And you got to have someone fight for the tag titles at Evolution.
Yeah, I'm going opposite way of you. I'm giving Raquel the edge because I think Roxanne interferes, and I don't think anyone saves Rhea.
If I were the one booking it, I think Raquel should win.
Yeah.
But if I were the one booking it, the tag titles wouldn't be a factor. So, since the tag titles are a factor, that's why I'm leaning that way.
Yeah.
If they weren't probably going to be featured, and if you didn't have Roxanne as well, I would honestly have this match to be for who fights Io.
Not a bad thought.
But since they're so far away from that now, I think they're just going to stick it to the tag division.
Yeah, probably so.
Got to have something for Nikki.
Probably so.
Timed out.
But, so we both disagree on that one. That was our first disagreement of the night. So we're keeping tally of this. Winner will be crowned.
Winner will be crowned our inaugural champ. Heel Tactics champ.
Yep.
It's the WWE title.
Yep. We're trying to do this just based off pay-per-views. We're going to include the upcoming title matches on SmackDown and Raw in the runnings, but
we might not have them be for points. Do you want the SmackDown match? I mean,
I think it's a whole weekend of wrestling. Yeah. I think we should all the predictions count towards this tally. And
there's 4 title matches on the next SmackDown and Raw. It's Night of Champions, and there's barely any championship matches. We're clumping them in there.
And post Night of Champions, we will have our Night of
based off of these 10 matches.
Yep. All right, so moving forward, we'll go to a title match.
One of only 2.
One of only 2. We've got the U.S. champ, Jacob Fatu.
America's Most Wanted.
Yes, sir. Versus maybe one of the best promo cutters of all time, Solo Sikoa.
My tribal chief.
Not mine, but I could appreciate it. And going into that comment about promo cutting, just because on SmackDown, which finally set up the match. I mean, obviously we've had the setup since Money in the Bank. Jacob betrays him, yanks him off the ladder, betrays Solo, then Solo has the vignette.
I hate you.
Yeah, has the vignette telling him, "Oh, well, I'll be in SmackDown next week." Come out and say, so we finally get to this promo. And if I'm Jacob Fatu, after Solo puts his heart out like that, I love you, Jacob. I'm the only one that ever believed in you. I brought you here for you to put food on your family's table.
I don't need you to say the 4 words.
Yep,
I will.
I'll say
I
it.
love you, Jacob.
And then he says,
and you're the only thing I got, and you're the only thing I need.
Even though,
I'm listening to him.
Even though JC Mateo's just chilling in the back, he just told him, I'm going out there by myself. He starts the whole promo out with, I'm literally not here to fight you.
Yeah.
Which we know he is, but in that, listening to the promo, I'm like, oh my God, I'm with Solo.
He's genuine. 100%. He misses Jacob, his little friend.
I don't blame him. But, Jacob being Jacob, it's time for him to spread his wings on his own. Mm-hmm. He ain't with it. Solo, you can get in where you fit in. You know what I mean?
Say a little louder.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't roll it like that. But Jacob cuts a traditional Jacob promo, short, sweet, to the point, and we get the announcement that at Night of Champions we're going to have Jacob Solo for the U.S. title. But before that, we had a JC Mateo run in.
Beat down.
A little beat down on Jacob.
Jimmy Uso comes out. Big Jim saved Jacob.
Biggest pop of the night.
Was it?
Personally for me, not at all. It was nowhere near the biggest.
It's always great to see Jimmy because we know they don't have any plans.
Yeah.
But Jimmy saves him. A little stare off. I'd love to see maybe SummerSlam, Solo, Jacob, Jimmy, triple threat for the U.S. title.
I won't be shocked if... I would like that triple threat. That'd be cool because even at the end of the night, at the end of Jimmy saving Jacob, which ended up being Jacob kind of saving Jimmy because Jimmy got beat down by both of them. Jimmy's like standing in the corner and the U.S. title's on the floor, and he like refused to pick it up
because
he said Jacob, and he kept pointing at it like, Jacob, come get your title. So there's going to be the allegiance between them, and I think we'll probably get a tag match in the upcoming weeks between Solo and JC and Jimmy and Jacob.
Not getting it. Well, no, they have the match.
We need a title match at Night of Champions.
No, I was saying I'm shocked we're not getting it on SmackDown, but you can't have them run double duty.
So that would be a great triple threat. Mm-hmm. But I won't be shocked if it's just Jacob and Solo running it back at SummerSlam because I feel like this match is just going to dissolve into JC Mateo getting involved, Sammy getting involved. So at SummerSlam we get something, or not Sammy, Jimmy.
Too used to him being a noose.
So used to him being a noose. But yeah, I've got Jacob retaining. If it doesn't turn into a complete random fest of interference, Jacob wins clean. Mm-hmm. But
that's not happening.
No, caveat. I think Jacob retains. Is basically what I'm saying. Whether it's due to Solo.
I got Solo winning.
Okay.
I don't think Solo is going to hold it forever. I think Solo will win and lose it back
at
either to Jimmy or Jacob at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. I think the belt's going to stay between this little bloodline story probably for a very long time, which is unfortunate for the rest of the SmackDown mid-card, but it's money for the U.S. title.
Agreed.
But, could see JC come out, Jimmy deal with him. Mm-hmm. Oh, Solo needs a little more help. Hikuleo.
That'd be cool.
Hikuleo comes out,
or we'll help Solo get the win.
Back. Good heel victory for the night because I don't even have Raquel going over. So, actually, that's like the only heel victory I have for the night.
Yeah.
Kind of, but
we'll see
that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I have Solo. I think he's earned it. I think it's time.
He's beyond earned it.
People will complain that Jacob didn't have enough of a run, but if he's getting it back, I think that complaint will instantly go away because they did the same thing. Braun Breaker, when he won the Intercontinental title at first, had a trash run, lost it, won it back, and had a good run, and nobody talks about it.
Which I think is going to happen with Gunther.
The same thing.
I think it'll be the same way with Gunther. Gunther's world title reign was nothing impressive. Lost it, gets it back.
It's a little different because Gunther's first world title reign was pretty long.
It was long, yeah, for sure, but it was, in terms of watching it, was not very impressive.
I think this is the redemption run, but
we'll get to that
as far as the U.S. title goes, I have Solo going over.
I like it. I like the thought process.
And you need a title change on Night of Champions. And there's only 2 title matches.
I won't be upset if Solo wins. He's beyond earned it. Solo needs a belt more than Jacob does because Jacob could literally just walk out and the fans are going to go crazy. Solo winning the belt would give him that moment of like...
And as long as you're still keeping Jacob as the face pushing for the title, you still get just as much good story out of Jacob. It's not like they'll be throwing him to the side if Solo is the U.S. champion.
I think I would like to see it as... I'm still keeping my pick of Jacob, but if Solo wins, I want him to kind of be like invincible almost like a mini Roman again, where he's got the crew backing him up. He's never dropping the title because of that. Where Jacob actually has to scrap and claw and not just immediately vaulted to the top because of his connection with Solo, like actually grinding for that title victory back. That'd be really cool to see.
Also, even if Hikuleo doesn't come out, the Tongans could also come back. I said
Tongans could come out. But yeah. All right, so you've got Solo.
I have Solo going over to US
I've got
champion.
Jacob. I really like the Solo pick. Not changing, but I do like the Solo pick. So we'll get to the runner-up of the main event, I'm assuming.
There'll be the opening match.
Could be the opening match, just to get crazy pop in the beginning. But we've got King of the Ring's final match, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton.
You want to hit the beats from SmackDown?
All right, so SmackDown, we had Cody Rhodes come out to address his match on Raw with Jay. Before Cody gets the first word in, Jey Uso's music hits. We get the Yeet entrance. Comes through the crowd.
I literally wrote down this was 10 minutes of entrances. We have to hit the run it
back.
It
was 10 minutes of entrances. I can get over the run it back, but my point I will say to you, and I thought about this since last week, I am fine with the crowd entrance every week, solely because he stops at 2 to 3 different points and makes a kid's night of his. Like, that kid will remember that night for the rest of their lives. So I'm okay with the crowd entrance. The run it back gets annoying. I literally was watching and Jay's music hit and I said, oh, I can literally have enough time to go walk my dogs, get a glass of water, and sit back down before there's ever a word spoken. And I was not wrong. But Jay comes out and Jay cuts Cody off completely and says, you don't have to say a single word.
He doesn't.
Which he doesn't. It's going to be me and you, mano a mano, nothing but respect. But on Raw, only one man's walking out, and I got to get mine. I've got to get back at Gunther. We've both, fought my family. We fought each other, which they hadn't fought one-on-one, but...
He said they've been tag champs?
They've been tag champs.
Hey, Mount Rushmore tag team.
Possibly. Not really. And then, as Jay's continuing this promo about their friendship and how Jay's going to beat Cody, and right when Cody's about to retort, Sami Zayn's music hits because Sami's got a match that night with Randy. Sami comes down. I love you guys. Y'all are like my best friends. Y'all are two of the best.
How great of a moment is this?
Yeah,
us three all in the King of the Ring, standing in this ring.
Y'all are two of the best competitors in this sport. And then he kind of drops the bomb out of nowhere, but only one of us hasn't won the world title.
I love
it's
that
me.
It's like straight up acknowledging it.
Yeah, like it's me.
I was the first one there. I didn't even have a reason to be there. I was there to congratulate you, Jay. And I'm so proud of you.
He was the first
Cody,
guy
I was
in
the first
ropes.
person through the ring to congratulate you when you beat Roman. You finished your story. Now it's time for me to finish mine. It's time for Sami Zayn to finish his story.
It is time for Sami to finish his story, but not if...
The story against Karrion Kross.
Yeah, not if Randy had anything to say about it, which he did. Randy, his music hits, which it was one of those 4 guys with the biggest pop of the night. I think personally, I know the woe's really loud, but I think in terms of pop, I'd give it Jay or Randy.
Jay,
I feel like they just
run it back. Run it back doesn't happen every week. It happens often, but it doesn't happen every week, and he got it this week. So,
but Randy's music hits. Fans are singing along to the whole song, and Randy's reiterates, Cody, there's not a line I won't cross to beat you.
And Cody says nothing back.
Yep. Cody's just, which Cody was stone-faced the whole time. He looked kind of annoyed with everyone in the ring at that point in time.
Yeet.
That's valid. And then Randy goes to Jay. Jay, if it's going to be me and you in the final, our families go way back. Nothing but respect. I love you. But if you and me are at, which he said SummerSlam, but he meant
King of the Ring.
Yeah, he meant the King of the Ring finals. It won't be 4 letters, 1 word. It will be 3 letters, 1 move.
RKO from the fans.
Bar.
One of the greatest lines from Randy.
That was solid. And then I really loved Randy coming to Sami and saying, look, I love you. You are amazing. I will give you all your props, nothing but respect, and you will be a world champion soon. Just not now, because I'm beating you tonight. Straight up. You're going to get hit with the 3 most devastating letters in sports entertainment. He didn't need to do the 3 letters 2 times in a row. It was way more impactful on the Jey Uso promo than it was Sami, but
Pretty much every Randy Orton thing, move, word gets said or hit twice at this point.
Yeah, I'm with it. But literally, as soon as that promo's over, we're into the Sammy Randy match. Banger of a match.
Amazing match.
Banger of a match.
Said it would be last week. Also, real quick thing. It's funny. I've seen it a million times on social media. The 4 guys in that ring were all on the War Games team together, and the other guy on that team is Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yes, sir.
It's just so interesting to see that they're all so close to the world title right now.
I think this match was my favorite match of the week. There is a close contender on Raw, but this was definitely...
The reversals were impeccable.
Randy using the classic drop on the table and then Sammy doing it to him later on in the match. Randy's got the cleanest freaking scoop power slam in the freaking game.
The reverse RKO into Haluva kick into RKO.
Beautiful segment. I don't want to
truly
spend,
from out of
spend
nowhere.
30 minutes on this match. I'm not going to. It was great. Both of them.
This match,
props.
I'll say it now, this match was probably better than any match we'll get on Night of Champions.
Agreed. Randy gets the dub. RKO out of nowhere, of course.
In my heart, I don't think it should have happened, but I get why they did it.
I was sad to see Sammy lose because I want Sammy to win the belt. But Randy's my guy.
But also, I know
Sammy
Randy would end up beating
Cody.
if
No,
he
I think if
finals.
anyone has a chance to beat Cody, it's Randy. Now, on the other side of the coin, on Raw, Cody and Jay had their match. I will say props to Jay Uso. I think it was one of Jay's, aside from the Gunther match, which was more so his selling than anything, this was one of Jay's better matches we've had in a while. But
Two of Jay's better matches in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, but
it's almost like Jay Uso can wrestle.
Yeah, just maybe. Which hot take? I think Jay was a much better wrestler
Jay
than
can easily
Cody. But
you ask me, that ain't a hot take because Cody Rhodes is the 5 moves of doom.
Going back to our point last week about the crossroads or the Cody cutter, Jay Uso sold the cutter beautifully twice because he just leaned over.
He's not standing straight.
Yeah, he leaned and fell
and
instead
Cody
of trying
Rhodes
to jump
hit a
into
good looking
it.
crossroads in this match because he spikes Jay's head instead of Jay hitting his arm.
Yeah.
And that's probably a lot because of Jay, how Jay moved during the move.
For sure. I thought it was great that despite they had never gone one-on-one, that's what Michael Cole said on commentary, I'm sure they've had dark matches back when...
They definitely had tag matches.
Yeah, but I feel like when...
Usos versus Goldust and Stardust or something.
Yeah, I feel like when Cody was on that first or second title chase for Roman, I'm sure they had some dark matches.
They definitely ran a ton of Cody versus Solo, though.
Yeah, but I feel like for them to not have a ton of in-ring time together on opposite sides, they had great chemistry.
Oh, they've tagged together a bajillion
Their
times.
reversals were all clean for the most part. I really thought Jay was going to win at the end of the match.
They did a great job of making me think that, too.
Yeah, great job of making me think that. But, of course, Cody gets the dub. So, contrary to most opinions, I'm picking Randy to come out of this match at Night of Champions.
I don't hate the pick.
It's not just personal preference because Randy's my favorite, because I wanted Sammy to beat Randy anyways in the semifinals. But I don't think they're ready to give us Cody Cena again. And I think the fans want Randy Cena again enough to where they'll run it back at SummerSlam. That's why my pick is Randy.
No, I mean, that's valid. I went Cody. I don't want Cody to win, but Cody has plot armor, and it's Cody versus Cena.
Yep.
I don't have too much else to say about that one, just because that's my pick.
For sure.
It'd be cool if there was a world where it's a tie and we get a triple threat against Cena. That'd be sick.
Last year where Randy got screwed out of the victory over Gunther, so... I don't think they go back to the well. But
that wasn't an intentional screw over.
No, yeah. But they made such a big deal out of it. I feel like if you try to do it again this year, we're like, oh, it's a double pin or a double count out or something. That's 2 years in a row you haven't let Randy win it and he's been in the finals. Yeah. It's just kind of dumb. Either let him lose for real this time or let him win. I'd rather just see a clean finish to the match, preferably with Randy on top. But that's my pick.
I don't think they're ready to let face Randy beat Cody. I think when Randy beats Cody, it'll be as a heel in a more built-up feud.
The only other reason I pick Randy is because in my heart of hearts, watching Raw after the Smackdown promo, last thing I want to say about this one, there was a thought that crossed my mind because Cena had made that comment to Cody a week ago about how you let the fans into your head you didn't care about, or you cared about them too much, and that's why I beat you when he was doing his whole evil genius thing. There was a part of me after everyone cut Cody off and he just kind of sat there looking annoyed. Maybe Cody low blows Jay to win. Not in a heel way, but like, I needed no nonsense. I've got to get back to this, which would set up, we can get Cody kind of turning heel maybe, or having more heel tendencies for an eventual, which I'm still holding out hope for. But after this week, I'm perfectly fine with the way they're going with Cena right now. Cena being face, Cody being heel when they fight. But that's way down the road. I've got Randy, you've got Cody. Let's move forward to the main event.
For the WWE Championship.
Yep.
John Cena, the never seen 17.
The greatest of all
versus time. The voice of the voiceless.
The best
a.k.a. the voice of TKO.
Yes, sir.
CM Punk.
Best in the world. Or so he thinks.
Best in the world, don't beat the greatest of all time.
Nope. So we've had a lot of talk about these two in the previous episodes. We don't need to spend time running the clock back.
Except for the stuff on the most previous episode.
The most previous episode of SmackDown is the most important thing to talk about. So
I'll go ahead and hit the R-Truth stuff.
Go ahead.
R-Truth comes out there and attacks Kit Wilson.
Yep.
Starts demanding that he gets Cena out there. Damian Priest has to calm him down backstage because Malachi... Cool. Alistair Black is getting mad at Truth for messing with his matches. So we end up getting Truth Cena. The match is looking okay. Kind of crappily. It ends in a DQ.
Of course.
On the stage. I think they'll run it back. But
they've got to.
It'll be in a no DQ match or something like that.
Truth won't let it go.
But basically Punk comes out there. Cena hits him with the belt, low blow, hit with the belt again, put through the Slim Jim table, and then Cena drops a rip-off pipe bomb, which is better than the original pipe bomb.
Yeah. I've said this.
I told you Cena was going to let it loose.
And here's what I will say. Having Cena put Punk through the table to where Punk's incapacitated, literally doesn't move the entire time except breathe, was the best way.
He kept twitching his thumb really
weird, he did. Yeah, but it was the best way because you've had the past 2 or 3 promos where it's all Punk. Cena doesn't really retort. Cena doesn't really say anything because he's being stoic Cena. That was the only way you weren't going to get Punk to talk back. So it was beautiful how they set it up. It's very reminiscent of the pipe bomb setup originally. And Cena did not hold back.
I have some of this stuff written down because I know you don't.
I lived in the moment for
I can't remember what he said. It was some curse word, and he goes, "Oh no, kids, John Cena said a curse word." I loved that. And he was like, "Stu, bring the camera here. Look, I'm breaking the fourth wall." Basically just mocking everything Punk did in the pipe bomb. And he was like, "Oh, you change your values as much as I change my T-shirts."
Which is valid.
Calling out how Punk's fake with all the fans and stuff. And then back when the pipe bomb, Punk's like, "I'm going to take this belt and go wrestle in Ring of Honor." Hey, Colt Cabana. And Cena's like, "Oh, hey, Claudio Castagnoli. Hey, Nick Nemeth. Hey, Matt Cardona," which Matt Cardona was on an indie show. And he was like, "Hey, John Cena."
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love if they ran that. That'd be so sick.
But... yeah.
And then he starts tapping the mic. He's like, "We're still on? Oh, nobody's going to cut me off. Nobody's going to save me from you because I'm your only friend, Punk."
Yeah.
I love that.
I like how Cena did, like, it broke the fourth wall, which, okay, cool. You're John Cena. You can do that. Name drop 3 guys that are not a part of, I guess you can technically count Nick Nemeth because of the partnership with TNA.
But one of them's in AEW.
Yeah, you got an AEW guy. You've got the indie god, as Matt Cardona proclaims himself. And Cena knows, which I'm sure he didn't even have to clear it with anybody. They were not going to cut John Cena's microphone off, no matter what. And this promo alone, any fan that was just, "Oh, Cena's a heel. We're still going to do the John Cena sucks. We're still going to, boo him because it's cool. But, it's cool that he's a heel." Because I was one of those, it's cool that he's a heel, but it still makes sense for him to be the face at the end of the day. I am, after this promo, where at the end he's literally just self-gloating and letting everyone know this guy's not better than me. I am literally the greatest of all time. You're going to cheer me. You're going to appreciate me no matter what I do.
The fans were going crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope there's not a single Cena sucks after this.
Erupting. Like, the fans were eating it up.
Cena was like, I gave you the stage for the pipe bomb, da 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 da. Now you're the same old Punk. You used to talk all that talk. Now you're just the 5 mic moves of doom. I love that line. He was basically calling him out like for not being the voice of the voiceless anymore. You're Mr. TKO.
Mr. TKO, yep.
You tweet strong, but you act weak. And then the fans are all start chanting. He's like, they know.
Yeah, they know. There's even a moment where like Cena, when he's sitting on the rope, they got to just close up on his face, and he like legit smiled. Like the fans were eating it up so much and like chanting and cheering him on and loving him in that moment. He literally is just like, thank you. Like from John Cena, not John Cena. Like you could tell. And after that was the moment I feel like where he just clicked in his head. I'm going balls to the wall. I'm going 0 to 100. I'm letting everyone hear my thoughts because I am the greatest of all time. You think you're the best in the world.
You were the best in the world for 7 minutes, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Grand Rapids. The mood is starting to change. And I think that means the mood is changing for Cena's heel run.
Yeah.
Everyone should be behind it.
Oh, yeah.
If you boo Cena, I don't see how it can happen. Like, this is such newfound heel work. Like, there's nothing like it happening right now in wrestling. That was a masterclass promo, almost perfect. Like, it was amazing.
I've always liked Cena. And even when we've seen him live, I still say John Cena sucks because it's the thing. I would be 100% okay if that thing dies after SmackDown. Like, it does not. I won't be shocked if they do it in Saudi because they get it once a year or 2 times a year. So it makes sense. Like, oh, we have to get everything in we can as fans. But in terms of American audiences, it should be nothing but cheers and ovation for Cena from here on out.
And literally, as he's walking out the ring, he's like, I love that he pulled out this old line that he doesn't say at all anymore. Even you idiots are smart enough to realize the champ is here. Yes, he is. Yes. And then he looked at Punk and said, thanks for letting me rip off your promo to make you look even more stupid.
Yeah. It was literally like I was about to take notes on it, and after like the 3rd word, I was like, I have to just be in this moment. I can't write anything down. I'm here, locked in. Cena's going to kill it. This is what I've been waiting for. He did it. Cena's my pick to win, obviously.
I'm right there with you.
I don't foresee the title changing.
I would love to see Cena walk out with the belt. It's not going to happen, but let Cena walk out with the belt. The champ is here.
The champ is here. I wish the champ would stay here. He's retiring though, so it is what it is.
And it sucks that the champ is here now, and he's done better stuff in this run than he's done in the last 10 plus years.
It's a little crazy that's.
I mean, aside from maybe the U.S. Open Challenge,
it makes sense though because like he knows this is it. I feel like every time he's come back, he hasn't known, so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna give my effort. He gives his all every time he walks out there, but like now it's like I'm not filming a movie. I'm not filming a TV show. I have my dates lined up, and I got to figure out how I can make each one better, which that promo alone did it. That's the best thing he's done. He beat Cody Rhodes, which is very high on my list, but that was the best thing he's done as heel Cena, in my opinion.
Now, I'm going to just bring this up as my last point about Cena, because I just thought about it. In an interview with Chris Van Vliet, Van Vliet asked him, what's your favorite title reign you've had? And John Cena said the next one. Yep. And he's only had one defense so far. But you know what? This is his best.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
This is amazing.
I'm here for it. Yeah, Cena walks out champ. There's not much to discuss. They'll have a good match if it's Punk and Cena.
They'll have a great match.
But there's no thought in my mind CM Punk can beat Cena. There never really was. But
R-Truth involvement going to happen? I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope they wait till SmackDown or something.
You give the fans an R-Truth moment, which again, in Saudi Arabia, they don't get in but once or twice a year. They don't get WWE but a couple of times a year. So
I doubt they've ever gotten R-Truth.
Yeah.
Aside from like Greatest Royal Rumble.
No different than the match we had on Raw, which we'll discuss here briefly in a second. They had women's IC title match. If you're going to have this amazing build to Punk and Cena, which it's been a really good build, you don't have that match culminate in someone interfering.
Yeah.
Especially when you've already lined up that Randy and Cody are both SmackDown stars. Whoever wins is fighting Cena. It's not if one wins, they're getting gooned through, the other wins are getting...
Yeah.
Your SummerSlam opponent is picked. Now, can they throw a wrench in the plans and make it a triple threat with Punk? Sure, they can. But as of right now, we know who Cena's next opponent is. It's one of two men.
Just
you need to let Cena beat him. Yeah, you need to let Cena beat Punk clean. But yeah, so we're both on Cena for that one. So that concludes Night of Champion predictions. But we've got the 3 title matches on SmackDown and the one on Raw to get into.
Yeah, so just to real quick recap, I got Cena, Jade Cargill, Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa, Rhea Ripley, and Sami Zayn.
I've got Cena, Jade, Randy, Jacob, Raquel, Sammy.
Yep.
Now, we'll get to the SmackDown that's going to be right before, the night before Night of Champions.
And there's one match on Raw after.
Yep.
Which I think's in Saudi.
It's a special start time of 6 p.m. on Netflix. So I'm assuming if it's not in Saudi, it's somewhere on like a Europe tour maybe or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got a tag title match.
We have 2 tag title matches.
Yeah, we'll go for the men's first just to get it out the way because I don't
men's.
have much to... Oh, yeah. I'm in SmackDown. I'm in on SmackDown. I thought we were getting a women's tag match for a second. We've got the Street Profits as the champs versus the Wyatt Six. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it brief. I'm picking the Wyatt Six. I don't want them to win. I like the Street Profits. I love the Street Profits compared to the Wyatt Six. If you're going to try to build the Wyatt Six into this monstrous, oh my God, no one can beat them, you better let them beat the Profits for the titles. Yeah. It's that simple. I don't want it to happen. I prefer they never get their hands on belts. But if that's the route you're going to go, they better destroy the Street Profits.
So I have the Street Profits retaining.
Please.
So I'm going to clarify on this one. I don't know if the Street Profits are going to win the match. I have the Street Profits retaining the belts.
Solid.
I don't know if they're ready to let the Wyatts retain clean. I just think if the Wyatts get the upper hand, something's going to happen. And it's just like, so hopefully, which is how they should be, it's so brutal of a beatdown that it's a DQ.
Yeah.
Which the Street Profits keep the belt.
No different than, which is one of the worst decisions ever made in WWE, in my opinion, having Hell in a Cell with Fiend and Seth end in a DQ.
But this is different because this is a normal match.
It's just a normal match.
This isn't no DQ.
If you let them absolutely destroy them, I'm fine with that. I think because you're pushing this tag division versus the Wyatt so hard, the only way I don't see them winning the belts is if like all the other tag teams come out and get involved. Which could happen. DIY and Motor City Machine Guns and maybe Fraxium or anybody like that. But if you're going to build them right. I said it last week, I'll say it again. Not about this faction, another faction, but the Bloodline worked because the Bloodline won. Simple as that. You cannot build a faction around losers.
I agree.
All right.
So yeah, just to clarify, my prediction is that the Street Profits keep the belts.
Yes, my prediction is that the Wyatt Six beat them. I don't want them to, but that's my prediction.
Does that count if they win by... Well, no, they lose by DQ.
Win the belts. That's my prediction. Win the belts. All right, and then we've got women's U.S. title match, Julia and Zelina.
It's time.
Agreed.
It is time for Julia to be the United States champion.
For sure.
I loved what she said in her vignette. Oh, Zelina, you talk about how you've been working your whole life to get to this belt. I'm just using this as a stepping stone. I'm that good.
For sure.
That's sick. The U.S. title is clearly going in the wrong path. Having it be looked at different like that and having it be someone who's so legit and so good in the ring as Julia, United States, American, wrong word again, English isn't even her first language and she cuts a better promo than Zelina. Like, I think it's time for the big Julia push. Use this stepping stone as a boost. Let her hold it for a while. Go ahead and rip the Band-Aid on the Zelina run. Julia.
Personally, would have never taken the belt off Chelsea. You chose to give Zelina the moment. Cool. Good for Zelina. I don't dislike Zelina. I don't think she's all that in a bag of chips, but give Julia the belt. Like you said, rip the Band-Aid off this title run. Let's move past it. She had her cool moment. She won the belt. It's time for
There's
Julia.
just no convincing me that Zelina Vega can beat Julia.
No, none at all.
There's just... Like,
But it's no different than when she had the Puerto Rican match with Rhea. Like, everyone thought, oh my God, they're going to give Zelina her moment. She's going to win in her hometown. Rhea Ripley will destroy Zelina Vega 10 out of 10 times. It's that simple.
Julia's got that dog in her, and Zelina can't hold up.
For sure. I just hope that Julia gets a strong push. I don't want to see, which I don't think we will because of how involved the women's IC belt is on Raw between the three women that are fighting for it. They need to like kind of trade off on when they're hard pushing Julia and then hard pushing Stephanie Vaquer because they're both kind of like on that starting
I think
field
Stephanie
together.
might push for the women's
title
soon.
before,
purely due to Liv
Morgan's
being
injury?
out, and you have
Yeah.
to have someone for Io to face.
That's valid.
But I mean, I think Julia's a big enough name and great enough in ring to where if you put it on her,
yeah, she
now
can,
you can have her face the main eventers for the U.S. title
for sure. Yeah, she
which
can hold it up.
expands
The roster that she
the
can fight.
roster of people,
Yeah,
sure,
for sure.
exponentially. Like now you can have Julia versus Charlotte, Julia versus Alexa, Julia versus Naomi, Julia versus Jade, all for the U.S. title, and
Yeah.
it's all believable that Julia is the one doing it and winning
And defending, yeah. And retaining, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, give me Julia. You've got Julia. Women's title match. Tiffy Time versus Nia Jax, and I believe it's
For the 900th time.
I believe it's last woman standing.
Last woman standing.
Yeah, it's a last
Yep.
woman standing match.
That should make it actually really interesting.
Agreed.
Also, just Band-Aid rip. Tiffany Stratton's winning.
Give me Tiffy, unless we get the Naomi cash in.
You can't cash in. How would a cash in during a last woman standing match work? That's why that's not going to happen during the match.
That's a good point.
It just wouldn't work.
But how would a
Because you can't have a triple threat last woman standing.
But how would a cash in work in War Games?
Well, you'd have to ask Damian Priest. It was the plan.
It was the plan the whole time. Yeah, no, I didn't even think about it that way because I just thinking in my head, Tiffy Nia, it's the perfect time to cash in.
Now,
especially 'cause
that'd
they're
be a
gonna
perfect time to cash in
Yeah.
after. Whereas it's not on the biggest stage.
No.
Strategically, she just went through a last
last
woman
woman
standing
standing
match.
with-
You know you're not going to have to deal with Nia Jax because Nia Jax is out.
Yeah.
And Tiffany's going to have the crap beat out of her.
Yep.
That's the smartest time. Unless the last woman standing match ends up ending backstage.
Yeah.
Or ending out in the crowd. Because then you're not near the ring. So then it's stupid to cash in.
Agreed. Yeah.
So do you have a cash in happening?
No.
Neither
I
do
still predicted the cash in being on Jade. Mm-hmm. Or in Jade's title match. Whichever. But yeah, I don't have I just threw that out as a caveat that we don't lose points depending upon our pick.
You know why this stipulation's great, though? Because having it be a last woman standing match is literally just straight up them saying, hopefully, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the
this
last
is the last
one in
woman
their
standing.
feud.
No more Nia Tiffy.
No
Please.
more. I don't care if Nia can stay in the main event. Nia can fight for world titles, just not against Tiffany anymore.
I'm with it.
Please.
I'm with it. And then we'll get to the last title match of the weekend, which isn't really the next week, but we got a tag team title match on Raw.
With no storyline build.
No.
The New Day versus Finn Balor and JD McDonough.
Mm-hmm.
Purely because Adam Pearce wants the belts defended.
Valid. Shout out Pierce being back on Raw. So hype.
I loved the New Day's reaction. He was like, y'all are going to have a match. And they're like, a match?
And then whenever he says, "Yep, next week," and they're walking out, and one of them, I couldn't tell if it was Kofi or Xavier because I was barely listening. But they're like walking out. And he goes, "You're bald."
Yeah. And then Grayson Waller, the new third member of the New Day, pulls up and he's like,
I'm going to say this right now. As I've been on record, get Theory away from Waller. Do not have Grayson Waller destroy everything I love about the New Day.
He
is no big
love
We love the New Day. I refuse. If Waller joins the New Day, I riot. I can't do it.
It's kind of so funny.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
He's like, put some respect on my boys, the New Day. And Adam Pearce is just like bewildered. Like, what am I? Where's Austin Theory?
Yeah. No, please. For the love of everything. Do not let Waller destroy the New Day.
Let him in the New Day.
Please. No.
Well, we almost had Odyssey Jones in the New Day.
Well, we're going to bring up Odyssey Jones. That's rough. Yeah, no. In this match, I've got New Day coming out.
Oh, it'll be a great match, but
I've got New Day retaining. I wouldn't be shocked if their new homeboy Grayson Waller interferes on their behalf. Dom? He's injured, so now they're the enforcer of the Judgment Day getting involved. I'd love to see a Tahana bomb on Grayson Waller through the table.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
On the Slim Jim table.
Yes, Slim Jim table.
New Day needs to win, as I've said on both of our last episodes, and as I'll say forever. Literally let the New Day hold the belts forever.
Yeah.
Give me like a 6,000 day. I don't even know how many years that is. Yeah. Give me a reign longer than Roman's world title run.
Wow.
Let them hold it forever.
That'd be sick. That would be sick. Yeah. I've got New Day winning. It's too early in the title run just to have them go to Judgment Day, who are in the exact same boat as the New Day. They don't defend the titles.
But the New Day uses it as a fun character. Judgment Day was just like...
We have our belts with us, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Same thing they were doing with Liv and Raquel. Mm-hmm. But yeah, overall, we've got a lot of predictions out there.
We have...
I've got
4 different matches?
Yeah, I picked Randy, you picked Cody, I picked Jacob, you picked Solo, I picked Raquel, you picked Rhea.
And we have the Profits
and Wyatts. Yep.
Profits might not win.
But retaining the belt. I like it. No different than me with Jacob. Jacob's retaining the belt. Whether it's by clean pin or interference, he's retaining the belt. But that's...
As a last thing to hit, unrelated to these shows, just some Liv Morgan stuff. She's out for months now, confirmed.
Reportedly. Yeah.
So everything with her is thrown off the rails. We talked about the tag team stuff, but what do you think is going to happen with the women's title?
In terms of EO? Mm-hmm.
Because EO has not been on any pay-per-views since WrestleMania.
You want my personal opinion? I don't care if it's Liv. I don't care if it's Roxanne, Raquel, Rhea. EO, keep the belt, no matter what.
I'm not saying who do you do you think EO is going to lose? Just who do you think she'll defend against? Probably by Evolution.
By Evolution, they've got to have some kind of match. Yeah, it's too quick, I feel like, to throw Stephanie there.
Unless you do like a battle royal on Raw.
You got to have something to...
Because there's no story.
There's no story behind it.
You got to come up with something so out of nowhere.
At least we knew it was going to be Nia, but Tiffy has a story.
Rhea beats Raquel, or Raquel beats Rhea, and they're just like, I won this match. I'm going after the women's title.
It's probably going to be... Give it to Raquel. I hope Raquel wins at Night of Champions and let Raquel fight Io. Yeah.
Or you could do triple threat, because seemingly there's probably not going to be any multi-person matches at Evolution, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
So you could do a triple threat, let it main event. I mean, that'd be a good match. Rhea, Raquel, Io.
Yeah, not a bad pick.
Women's title.
Excuse me. Yeah. No, I like that. For me with Io, because I guess she hasn't been on any pay-per-views lately and all that, I don't care who it is. Feed them to Io and let Io beat her.
Let her start fighting like Ivy Nile and stuff.
I was going to suggest Ivy Nile, but I think Ivy's going to be fighting Stephanie. But
you could let Stephanie beat Ivy and be like, okay, I'm on a roll. I want a women's title match.
For sure. Last thing I wanted to hit, just a complete shout out on Raw. We had a banger for the women's IC title match. Bayley and Becky.
Great match. That's
killed it.
That's the one thing rivaling
the Randy Sammy match. Yeah.
The chemistry between these two
untouchable.
I talked about with Asuka and Alexa.
Yeah.
Between them two.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They could fight every day of the week and have a different match.
Agreed. It flowed well. The reversals, the constant using each other's moves or trying to use each other's moves. And
too often in a Becky match, you see Becky going for like 1 or 2 moves over and over again
Back
just because how the
exploder and
spots were set
disarmor.
up.
Yep.
That was so well set up that they didn't have to do that. At points, it was a technical masterpiece with great reversals. At points, it was super brutal with constantly getting thrown into barricades and stairs. And I don't know what Bayley's little move is, but where she basically does like a freaking twist of fate type thing.
Through the ropes? Yeah.
I love that.
Becky
that
sold that
move's
beautifully.
So sick.
With the way Becky dropped down and like plopped on the ground. I love the sell there. But yeah, no, it's a good move.
Yeah, it was just a super like hard hitting, great match.
And going back to my point I've said about This Is Awesome Chance, we eventually got them in this match.
It was deserving.
It was way too late in my opinion, and they had already given This Is Awesome Chance to another match that night, which I didn't think was that great.
I can't remember which one got it.
I think it was Jade and Roxanne, and it wasn't awesome in my opinion. But that's my opinion. Wrestling, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But Becky and Bayley, after like 2.5 minutes, I was like, "This is
Also,
awesome."
I thought it was funny her like burying her with everything,
burying her with all the
not
chairs and
technically
stuff.
a DQ.
No, and then we had Lyra come out to save Bayley from
and
the
then
chair
Lyra
pile.
gets in the way, and then Lyra runs in and causes a DQ. We'll get the triple threat. The triple threat will be great.
It's
the
coming.
triple threat won't be
For
as
sure.
good as the singles match.
That match deserved to have a clean finish,
That
even if it's
match
Becky going over.
deserved to be on Night of Champions.
Agreed, because no different than the Randy Sammy match. It's probably better than any match we'll see this week.
And it's disappointing because if it weren't King of the Ring, that match would have, at minimum, probably main evented Raw.
Yep, probably so. It should have, because it was a phenomenal freaking match.
Yeah, no.
But yeah,
match of the week. I'm still going Randy Sammy, but I'm going with that.
definitely going
second
Randy
place.
Sammy.
Wrestler,
Wrestler of the week, John Cena. The promo alone, John Cena.
I'll give a different one just for a highlight. I'll go with. I'm between Sami Zayn or Jey Uso.
Valid. It was one of Jay's best matches in a long time. And Jay literally had me believing he was going to win. And Jay made Cody look like a competent wrestler the whole time. And made his moveset look good. He sold everything beautifully.
Yeah.
Sammy, we've said it, Swiss Army knife. He can do anything.
But
drop him
specifically some of
anywhere.
the stuff he was hitting with Randy.
Oh, yeah.
And for the punch to Karrion Kross. And for the expected win, giving my wrestler of the week to Sami Zayn.
That's valid. That's valid.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've got plenty of wrestling to watch this weekend. We've got SmackDown. We've got Night of Champions. And then we've got Raw. We'll be giving a recap, going over our results
That'll
from
be
our
a long
predictions.
episode.
Yeah, it'll probably be a pretty long one. We might break it into 2 parts like we tried to do last week. Just we're still trying to figure out the timing part.
So I'll clarify here. This is probably how predictions episodes are always going to go. A little less of highlighting point for point on SmackDown and Raw, and more of just hitting the beats while we cover the predictions.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, it adds for a little bit of a different feel of an episode to break up to our 20 loyal viewers.
Breaks up the monotony, and it like literally, if Bayley and Becky hadn't had that banger, I would have mentioned nothing else. I would have just stuck to because I mean we got plenty of time spent discussing every match.
And there's
coming up.
obviously stuff that happened between Gunther and Goldberg, and multiple things.
But we
like,
can highlight that when we're leading into.
There
Saturday
will
Night
be
Main Event.
more, and everything was building towards Queen and King of the Ring and Night of Champions. So this episode was about Night of Champions.
And we'll also crown our first Heel Tactics champion
At Night of Champions.
after Night of Champions, but
because
yes,
it also
based on the
depends on
results.
Raw and SmackDown.
Absolutely. But
Which probably we'll try to include Raw and SmackDown's matches in predictions as long as it's a smaller pay-per-view.
yeah, I mean,
SummerSlam will be big, but like an Evolution and Main Event will be on the same predictions, but like for situations like this where it's just a pay-per-view with 5 or 6 matches.
especially though that they announced
Four
other
title
title matches.
matches,
We had to go over.
And there's
them, for
usually title matches around pay-per-views anyways.
for sure,
so,
for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, we just want to thank everyone for viewing, everyone for listening, whether you're getting it through Spotify or Amazon Podcast or the podcast networks, or you're watching on YouTube. We greatly appreciate anybody who's following along, joining us on this journey.
Don't forget to follow us on everything.
Yeah.
Yet again, we're still new to this. That's
Yeah.
why there's been no additional content beside the podcast. We're just trying to get rolling on one thing.
We're trying to build up steam. We're getting more into the flow of this side of things, which we really want to be the main focal point of what we're doing with Heel Tactics Wrestling. Just like I've been saying, expressing our love and our enjoyment that we get out of the shows. And yes, we don't get to talk about much of the other companies that we haven't talked about anybody else really yet because we're trying to
gets around. There will be an entire episode for All In predictions.
Yeah, probably. We're just trying to get our timing down because we don't want to make anyone have to sit through a super, super long episode. But until we get that timing, kind of locked down, just bear with us, please. We appreciate anyone who follows, anyone who watches, anyone who comments, likes, subscribes. Give us your feedback, please. We love feedback. We'll answer anybody's questions.
I reply to comments.
Yep, he'll reply to comments. And we really want to create a community of conversation. We're not big on shooting ideas down. We're not big on trashing on anybody. We try to be fair to everyone. And it'll be the same. Of course, have
our favorites.
Yeah, for sure. But it'll be the same in the comment sections, in any type of comment on like an Instagram post or TikTok or anything. We try to keep positive energy, power positivity. We love the New Day.
We love the New Day.
But yeah, just thank you to any and all who watched, any and all who listened, and I'll
just give his name a shout out because we didn't say anything about him, and I don't have anything specific. Thank you, Wade Barrett. Oh, that's it. Just for being Wade Barrett.
I wrote specific things down about Wade Barrett. We just didn't have the time to get to it. But
we just got to mention him on every episode,
especially with Barrett. And shout out Corey Graves. Corey Graves being on Raw 2 weeks in a row. Solid. Still love Pat, but
Wade
solid.
Barrett, join us as a guest, please.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We will make space on our set for you to sit. We'll get you a microphone. We know you won't see this, but join us.
Yeah, for real. But now, all jokes aside, just thank you for everyone that watched, everyone that listened.
Ooh. Random last second thing, just because it's our boys.
Go ahead.
Speaking of Wade Barrett, Sheamus mentioned the League of Nations.
League of Nations. It said Rusev was the weakest member. That was pretty clean. He actually said he was a joke. The funniest member.
I love League of Nations.
Yeah. No, there's just so much to get into with wrestling. So we're trying to get the timing down. We're trying to figure out what's the most important things to hit, what's stuff we can kind of leave off. But yeah, thank you for watching. We will be back next week with the results of Night of Champions and the Smackdown and Raw.
Probably a long episode.
Yeah, buckle in the seat belts and get ready. We'll try to keep it as short and sweet as we can.
Might have to be a two-parter.
Yeah. But thank you everyone and have a good night, have a good evening, and enjoy wrestling over the weekend. Thank you.